Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to go in-depth on summer bass fishing. We're going to be talking about my top 5 summer bass fishing baits. Let's get right into it. Alright, so summer fishing is extremely fun, and it can be some of the most fun fishing of the entire year. But there are a few baits that I have right here just to conceal it down that I think are my top 6, just all around favorite summertime baits that I feel like can cover you the entire summer. Obviously, I own a lot more and I use a lot more, but if I had to conceal it, this is what I conceal it down to. So, start off with bait number 1. We're gonna go with the frog. So, there's a bunch of different frogs. You can have traditional frogs like this, which kind of like a keeled face. This is a spro frog. They come in, that's one of my favorites, a spro frog. They come in a few sizes. That's a junior. If you're just starting out with frog fishing, don't be afraid to get some smaller frog. You probably get a little bit more bites and better hookups with those. And then you can move into the little bit bigger ones like the Spro 65 or the normal size pad crasher. Also, if you're just starting, not that one. The mini pad crasher is an awesome frog, along with the normal pad crasher. They're priced right and they catch fish. One honorable mention for topwater, because it's probably my second favorite topwater for summertime, is the whopper flopper. I throw that all the time. But if you want to throw a whopper flopper in a frog form, just because there's a lot of slop, sometimes you even can't get a whopper flopper through it. Slop refers like weeds on the surface. They make frogs with like you can just compare them right here. Whopper flopper, that spins, frog, that spins, and you can fish this through anything. The beauty of frogs is that they're just so weedless. You can reel those things through anywhere, come through anything. You're really not gonna get a lot of weeds hung up. Where if you took a whopper flopper like this and threw it over a lot of grass and surface, algae, this thing, you would get it up and there would be 5 pounds of weeds. You'd rather be catching a 5-pound bass, not 5 pounds of weeds. But whopper flopper, open water, great lure, but it's not going to make it for this one. Alright, second lure, staying with reaction and staying with more power fishing, is a chatterbait. Chatterbait I use spring, summer, fall. But summertime is when I feel like I fish it the most, because first of all, the chatterbait is just an awesome lure, but summertime is when a lot of times those fish will pull out to offshore. You can just beat the banks like you do any other time of year. Just like fish that 0 to like 5 or 10 feet of water. But when those fish pull out to offshore, when you don't have like a bass boat or sonars, it's tough to. You can look for like points and stuff and throw crankbaits, but it's kind of hard to locate offshore structures. But one thing, grass. A lot of time you know where grass is. A lot of times fish will pull to offshore grass. And the chatterbait is by far my #1 bait for that. I would let this sink down to the bottom. Usually you could just cast that and retrieve, and you can do that because you can throw a chatterbait wherever in the summertime. But when you're fishing offshore grass, let it go like more down, like close to the bottom, and start like a medium retrieve. And when it starts ticking the grass, pop it, tick, pop. When you kind of feel like the grass coming on, and a lot of times those bass in the hot water are kind of be pulled in that grass. When that chatterbait rips out of the grass, they'll come up and just reaction strike and hit it. So chatterbait is one of my favorites. The original Z-Man is probably just, it's priced right, it catches fish. It's not my favorite, but I probably use this probably more than any other chatterbait just because they're right there. You can get it basically anywhere. But my favorite is the Chatterbait Custom. This one's a Tackle Warehouse exclusive, Tackle Warehouse online site. Most of you probably know what that is. Chatterbait Custom, 3/8 ounce is definitely my #1 size. And green pumpkin, water dirty, black and blue waters, murky. And if you have a place where there's a lot of shad, not much here in the Northeast, but if you're a lot of shad, white or white and chartreuse is a great pattern. So my favorite trailer, oh, one more. Picasso Shock Blade, also a very great choice and very underrated bait. One of my favorite chatterbait trailers, because when you're fishing a chatterbait, just like a jig or a swim jig, you want to have, because they just come just with that skirt and not with a trailer, you definitely want to get some trailers and put it on the back. And if you don't know how to put it on a trailer, you basically thread it up on top of the hook and push it down on the back so it ends up looking like that. So my favorite ones are the Yamamoto Senko. I like to trim just like a few of those first ribs off And they put a little dab of super glue right there just so that every time you catch a fish it doesn't get pulled down. Yamamoto Senko, a little bit more expensive, but that's probably my favorite. So Senko, that's what they look like. And then Reaction Innovations, the Little Dipper and the Skinny Dipper, those are two awesome also Chatterbait trailers, and these are both just great swimbaits in general. So, yeah, so Chatterbait, number 2. Move on to number 3. Alright, so number 3 is going to be the Swimbait. This is another reaction bait, but it's a little bit of a slower moving, more finessier reaction bait. Not like giant swimbaits, though I have been having some luck on some bigger swimbaits that just fell. So, my number 1, of course, is going to be 4.8 Kitech. The thing that's so great about these is, first of all, they're much more subtle than a Chatterbait. You can read them a lot slower, and you can fish them through like a lot of heavier weeds. You can cast them kind of through lily pads and work them through without getting stuck. So this is more like a if they're a little more lethargic fish, or if you're fishing a little bit more cover, you want to throw reaction bait, Swimbait. So Kitech, definitely my number 1. It just catches fish. A little bit more expensive, but they just work, and in my opinion, they just work better than all the rest. But there are also some very good other offerings. Like this one, I have to be honest, not to hate on Strike King, probably one of my favorite manufacturers. They completely ripped off the Kitech, as has many other companies ripped off this, just because it works so well. But Strike King, Rage Swimmer, you can find these in more places in my opinion. But it's similar. I don't think it has as good as action, but it still has great action. I've caught plenty of fish on it. You see me fishing in one of my last videos. And if you want to have something a little bit different than that kind of like ribbed profile, you can go with a swimbait like this. This is a Strike King Swimmin' Caffeine Shad, and another honorable mention, the Strike King Caffeine Shad, or the Fluke. That one just missed the cut for summer fishing. I didn't want to make it a top 7 video because I was trying to do it to 5, but I couldn't even do that. Had to have one more, but just another honorable mention, the Strike King Caffeine Shad. That's also an awesome bait. But Swimmin' Caffeine Shad, that's another good one, mostly for heavier structure because it's more of a slender bait. And if you want to see how I rig this, I like to rig them with these belly weighted hooks. The Owner Beast, that's a VMC 4 seems to be the best size. So I'll rig one of these Rage Swimmers up on the 4 Beast. So these come with a screw lock. Oh, those come with a screw lock on the head. And if you get some of them, they have centering pins on it. You stick that right into the face, right in the center of that, and you just screw that on just like that until it just, make sure it goes on straight. Screw it up just so it looks like that. And you take it around to the lighter side on the bottom, and you see where that's supposed to line up, like that. And then you stick it up through the back, and out through the top, and boom. Just like that. And then it's weedless, so you can run that over. Like, I'm not getting hooked right now. Totally fine. Totally fine. So you can run this like lily pad, but when a fish comes down, bites down on it, boom. That big hook comes out. Set that hook hard, and you got them. So that's my next choice. Another just a more finessier reaction bait that just catches fish all throughout summer and all other times of the year. This is the one that I chose to put it in. So next bait. Now we're slowing it down a little bit. We're going fishing to the bottom when that bite gets a little bit tougher, or even when in the summertime a lot of fish like to bury into brush, and one of my favorite baits for fishing brush is of course a jig. But in the summertime, a Texas rig I feel like just beats out a jig just a little bit. Spring, I love jigs. Summertime, the biggest fish of the summer this year's already came on a jig. But I just feel like the Texas rigs, but I just catch more fish on. I have more confidence in the summer. So if you don't know what a Texas rig is, I'll just go over the rigging right now, or I'll show the baits first. These are some of my favorites. Reaction Innovations Man Bear Pig. Of course, they use crazy name, Reaction Innovations. Strike King Rage Tail Structure Bug. Love this bait so much. I do so much damage on this. Another great Texas rig bait. Then Coogan Baits, Bandito Bug, also a great one. Just like I think I said this already, green pumpkin, watermelon red, natural colors when the water is cleaner, and things like black and blue when the water is a little bit more dirty. So I'm gonna teach you quickly just how to rig a Texas rig. If you don't know, if you know how to rig a Texas rig, you can skip through a little bit of this. But you get an EWG hook like that. They look like that. I would recommend 3/0 or 4/0, particularly a 4/0 I think is what best. Get some weights, anywhere from 1/8 ounce to 3/8 ounce, probably 1/4 ounce and 3/16 is my favorite. And what you do, you get the weight and you slide this up your line, so it's like free swinging on your line. And then you grab your hook and you tie this on. And then this is the part where you kind of need to learn how to do it. It's a Texas rig. This one of my next baits I'm going to show you. I'm using this exact same rig to use. So demonstrate with a structure bug. And if you get the structure bug and a bandito bugs, make sure that you separate all the appendages to get maximized action. So you have your Texas rig hook right here. You have your bait. You stick the point of the hook through the head of it. Come down through the bottom right there. Push it all the way up. Turn it around like that. So it should look like this. And then you take it just like that swim bait and stick it right through the back. Just like that. And then boom. And it looks just like that. Again, it's weedless, except you don't have that like spring lock on the front. Just like that, and then your weight will slide down to that and cast it out, go to the bottom, work it, jig it up a little bit. I would aim for stuff like wood or structure in the water, because a lot of times in the summertime the fish will be buried in there. And looking for a meal like this, just to come by, not knowing that it's about to get eaten. Alright guys, so bait number, what is that, 5? Yeah, 5. Senko. I have to be honest, not my favorite way to fish. There's much more fun ways to fish, but when the bite gets tough, really can't beat this. It just, they eat it. Senkos are the category now. It's called 6 stick baits, but as you can see, I have no more in this package. I've caught fish in all of them. Yamamoto Senko, again, kind of like the Kai-Tak, more expensive, but there's tons of rip-offs out there that are a little bit cheaper. Senko has the best action. I feel like it gets the most bites, but stick with your budget. Yum Dinger is a great, the 5 inch is the best size for all around, but Yum Dinger is a great one. It's like $3 compared to like 8 for a pack. And use that same exact Texas rig like I showed you. This is also I demonstrate with the Guggen Baits. Lunker log is what they call it. But I have that Texas rig rigged up on another bait. But actually, I don't think I really need to show you that. I already showed you the Texas rig. Do that exact same thing. There's usually a thicker part in the front and like a tapered down a little thinner in the back. Rig your bait up through this, like the front part. And then Senko, not the most fun way to fish. You cast it out. It shimmies on the way down, so you have to let it fall, go to the bottom, and work it up a little bit, and then it will shimmy back down a little bit, work it up, and that keeps on dropping. And a lot of times the fish will eat it right on the fall, and then wait a second, wait till he has it, and set that hook, and you will be good to go. So, bait number 5 is a Senko. Now, we'll roll right into bait number 6. Last but not least, Shaky Head. Shaky Head, I would say it's a more finessey version of a Texas rig, and I like to throw this a lot more around like docks or more like rocks. And also, when a Texas rig is a little bit too big of a profile, because some of these baits are a lot bigger, you can throw something like a Shaky Head. So, baits, number 1 is the Robo Worm for me. Striking makes their finesse worm. And Robo Worm, make sure you get the 6 inch, not the 4 inch. 4 inch great for like a drop shot, not great for shaky heads. And then Zoo Magnum Shaky Head Worm, also a great choice. For what you rig them on, that's what a shaky head is. Hook like that is a little screw lock, the owner ones, probably my favorite, anywhere from 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce, just great choice. So I'll demonstrate rigging up on these Zoom worms right here. So get your shaky head, line it up right there, just like you're throwing on that swim bait. See that little screw lock? It has a little centering pin. Stick it right through the front. Right through the front, screw it on until it's tight. Go on the back, and similar to a Texas rig, rig it up just like that. And boom, that thing will stick right out the top, like that. And this thing, you let it kind of go to the bottom. This tail like really looks kind of like wiggles in the water, and you can drag it, you can pop it up a little bit. You can give some hard pops to the fish if you're getting a lot of bites and the fish are really aggressive. Sometimes the neck can trigger a great reaction strike. Kind of let it go to the bottom, have it go along like that, and the tail be up there. And it's an awesome bait when those fish are a little bit more finicky. in the summertime and they're relating more to the bottom and not to the top, I would say that if you want to get two great finesse baits, it's the Senko and the Shaky Head for summertime. Senko if they're a little bit thicker cover, or if you're fishing more mid-water column or in like grass, and Shaky Head if you want to fish more towards the bottom and more rocks is when I would definitely lean towards the Shaky Head, and then Texas rig when you're flipping a lot of brush. And then all the other lures already touched on that. Alright guys, so hope you enjoyed this video. My top 6 summer fishing baits. Drop a comment down below, leave a like, and we'll see you in the next video.